Joining me now with reaction is RNC Chief Strategist and Senior Communications Advisor to the Trump transition, Mr. Sean Spicer. Thanks for joining us.
You bet.
So all I've heard since the election was it wasn't Hillary's fault.
I know.
It was the Russians. It was Comey. It was the voting booths. It was
the
the
upside
Russians
is
again.
they're on step 8 of the 12-step program. I think they hopefully can get through this before the end of the year. Look, they were expecting a coronation. They had the fireworks out. They didn't understand what was going on in America. And I think it's difficult to overcome that kind of loss when you were expecting it to turn out vastly different than it did. So I understand it, but at some point, for the good of themselves, for the good of their party, they need to look in the mirror and understand that they had a flawed candidate, a flawed campaign, a flawed message.
Now, what is the flaw there? I remember 4 years ago, your group, Reinson, yourself, put out a GOP autopsy.
Right.
And we thought, what's going on with the GOP? Is it a dead party going forward? Here we are 4 years later. All of a sudden, GOP is flourishing across the board. Senate, House,
right.
White House, state legislatures,
yep.
governor's mansions. And the Democrats are going, wow, we need an autopsy report.
Well, there's two things. One, we at the RNC, under Chairman Priebus's leadership, put the infrastructure there, the technology, the ground game, and then Donald Trump brought the message and the candidate. And when combined, you can't stop that. That's an unstoppable force. The problem with the Democrats...
We heard you didn't have a ground game.
Right, and apparently we did. But we kept telling people we did. I think for a lot of folks in the liberal media, they just insisted because Hillary Clinton was a lot of talk. They didn't believe what we were selling. I think we proved everyone otherwise. To your point, there's not much left to win on the Republican side. We've got control of the state legislatures, the governors, Secretary of State, all the way up to the presidency. I think we're a very, very healthy and vibrant party. Donald Trump's breathed new life into the party, which was very helpful. It motivated the base. It got people excited. But they have a problem.
And 2018 looks great for the GOP.
Right. I mean, we're going to continue to pick up seats. And I think it's that, not just the political part, but when you see the actions, what Donald Trump's going to do day one, the first 100 days, the first year, it's going to be the stuff that he's going to talk. He's repeal and replace Obamacare, focus on infrastructure, put American jobs first. Everything that he's going to do, buy American, hire American. There's going to be a renewed focus on the American worker, the American business, the American taxpayer that this country hasn't seen.
What's this business about President Obama throwing some regulation, last minute regulation on America? Thank you very much, Donald Trump. Here's an anchor. Grab it. I know you're
Well, and I think it just means it'll be 30 days now before we have to undo some of those things. But I understand, look, he's got 30 days left, President Obama, and he's going to try to do everything that he's got left on that list of his. Luckily for the American people and the American businesses, Donald Trump's going to come in and bring that much needed help that they have been looking for a long time.
How does the Trump campaign see when a president on his way out, 30 days left before he leaves, throws a permanent ban on offshore drilling, some drilling on federal, permanent, not just until he's gone.
Well, but everything that's been done, there are ways to undo it. And I think President Obama is trying to do what he wants to do in the last remaining 30 days. But I think Donald Trump's not, we're going to make sure that on day one, the focus is back where it should be, on making sure that we have economic growth, on job creation, renewing a system of health care that puts the patients first. So there's going to be real change, and the end of business as usual is going to come on January 20th.
Back on liberal politics, are we done with the Clintons now for a while?
Well, I think so. They lost on Election Day. Then they helped fund all these recounts. They lost votes to Donald Trump through their efforts, and then they funded this effort and got behind this effort for the Electoral College, and she lost 5 electors, 3 to Colin Powell, 1 to Faith Spotted Eagle, and one to Bernie Sanders. So everything that she's done in the last 40 days has gone backwards from what she tried to do. So I think at some point, for the greater good of themselves, they've got to start to understand that they lost this election because of their failed message, not of anyone else's. All this stuff that they want to blame on everyone else. It wasn't Jim Comey that put a secret server together. It wasn't Jim Comey that sent classified information on that server. It wasn't Jim Comey that did everything. She's upset because she got caught. And I think at some point they've got to realize that it was their actions and their words and their failed message that cost them this.
I got one final question before I lose you here, Sean. The world's getting every day it's a more dangerous place.
That's right.
I would personally like to see President-elect Donald Trump and President Donald Trump participating in those daily briefings. Am I crazy?
No, he is getting a briefing every single day from his national security team. He got the presidential daily brief this morning. He was with a whole host of admirals and generals. This idea that he's not getting briefing is patently false. Every single day, his national security team is 100% briefing him, making sure that he's up to date on every threat that our nation faces.
That's very, very comforting. I'm glad we straightened that one out. Sean Spicer, thank you very much.
Thank you.